Okay guys, just let's start with today's session. So just a quick recap from our previous session. We have just started our JavaScript intro. So we have just covered that what is actually JavaScript is about, JavaScript basics. We are on actually JavaScript basis, right? We just covered our how to run JavaScript, what tools we need, we can have HTML content with JavaScript, how to enable JavaScript in every browser I have told you. Okay, but how you can give the warnings when your JavaScript is not loaded, we have covered these things, right? So after that we actually covered how to place our JavaScript in our code, right? So what are the functions, what are the events we need to have this thing. I have give you the brief. We'll discuss this thing in a detail. And what are the JavaScript statements. Till this line we have covered, right? So are you able to see my screen, everyone? So you can see we have covered till this thing, right? So anybody have tried about JavaScript, or we are still yet having HTML, CSS, or Bootstrap you are trying right now? There's just one suggestion. You need to do regular practice and need to be more like whatever done in the class, just quickly recap in your mind so that it should not skip from your mind what we have covered. I will share today's and yesterday's material today only, and they will share with you. So just try it, guys. Only then you are able to do that. Okay. So guys, in our example, you can see that we are just ending our JavaScript with a semicolon. Whatever I highlighted right now, you can see that I have ended my JavaScript statement with semicolon, right? So whenever you see the JavaScript code, almost every JavaScript statement is ending with semicolon. So why we actually need that semicolons? So just to separate our JavaScript statement, to just define where our JavaScript statement is going to end. Are you able to get it, everyone? So right now, if you are seeing that adding a semicolon at each executable statement, you can see that I'm creating three variables, declaring, sorry, where I'm declaring three variables, but at the end I'm putting the semicolon. If we are providing some value to the any variable, we are again pointing to some semicolon. Why we are doing this? We are actually doing this thing because to just tell the JavaScript interpreter that we are ending our statement here. Our Java 6 statement should be end here. Whatever the next line, it is the next JavaScript statement, right? So we can have, it is just for that program only. If you want to store the permanent, you can use the DB, or else you can also use the HTML storage. Remember, we have discussed about the local storage or web storage in HTML. Anybody remember that part? Guys, remember that part we have covered in HTML, local storage or web storage. Nobody? So Rochak is actually storing that variables into value into variable only. It's not storing into any memory. It's like for a particular that session, or whenever you load the JavaScript, it will assign a value to that variable for that particular time. Okay, it will not store any memory or any register. It will be, you can say, it will be a cached for some time, not for a like you have stored this value you can use after to without loading the JavaScript again. You can't use that value. Okay, so we have covered, guys. You need to practice that also. You have got the material. You can see about the local storage or web storage we have covered, right? Not for it can be valid for a particular session, then you need to maintain a session. But you can see if you assign a value whenever your HTML page is loaded by the browser and the JavaScript is loaded, then it will assign a value to the like this example only, it will assign a value of 5 to variable a. You can use that variable in a that particular script only when it is loaded in the HTML browser, but you can't use that variable in every time in another pages also. Okay, then you need to pass that variable to other pages if you want the same. And we'll see in our coming sessions how we can pass that values to another pages also, right? So just now we are discussing about the semicolon. So just semicolon is actually we can use to separate the JavaScript statements. We can declare our multiple JavaScript statements in a single line by just giving the semicolon. You can see that this is 3 line of code. Now we can actually define in a single line of code by separating semicolon. The JavaScript with this, it will be separated by semicolon, and it will be a 3 JavaScript statements, but line of code is only 1. Getting it? Any issues till now? So guys, when you see the many examples on the net or many examples on the YouTube or something, you can see they are not ending the exam with JavaScript statements with semicolon, because it is not necessary to give the semicolon, but it is highly recommended. What does that mean, highly recommended? Because sometimes what happened, you have not ended your JavaScript statement with a semicolon, then while debugging you will got the error or something unexpected exception will occur, which is not due to any error code. It is just due to you have not provided the semicolon, and it will get confused where your JavaScript statement is ending. It will try to run everything smoothly, but right, according to your requirement, but sometimes it will get ambiguous. So what actually needs to do, where actually JavaScript statement is ending, so it is highly recommended to provide the JavaScript semicolon, so that it will be clear where your JavaScript statement is ending. Okay guys, why other guys are not replying, guys? I'm not getting it. I got only 3-4 replies. Just moving to next part, guys. These are very basic things, but it can be asked in your viva, or it can be clearly doubt for you why we are doing this, right? So as you know, we can have multiple spaces in our JavaScript code, because first of all, how it's actually doing this in Java also, you can provide multiple white spaces. It will be ignored by them. Okay, why JavaScript is ignoring? Because you can make your code readable by giving the white spaces. If you don't provide any white space and your code is so congested, then you will also not able to understand where your first JavaScript statement is ending, where your second JavaScript statement is ending. Is just like a complex code. to provide the more readability, you can provide the multiple white spaces, but it will be ignored by JavaScript. You can see that we are having example here. When you provide this variable and having one space here, one space here also, it will not affect your any JavaScript statement. It will be executed smoothly. Either you can do this or either you can do this, but you can see this is more readable. But this is actually a very not readable thing, but right now it's a very small statement. You can see that it's very, you can you can say that it's readable, but when it's a complex code, you will find this something difficult. So it is a good practice to put at least one space around the operators. What is operators? You know that plus, minus, multiply, divide, equals, assignment operator, right? So you can see that while providing the variable to assigning a value, you can see that we are performing the adding function, but we are providing one space. Are you able to see that, guys? So it will make your code more readable. Clear? So now you know if you provide multiple white spaces, it will be ignored by JavaScript, and you can provide white spaces to make your code more readable. Can we move to next topic? Till now, any doubt? Amit, Anjali, Dilip, Apru, Kunal, Sahil, everyone clear? Vishal? Okay, guys. Now it comes to another small topics are there. It don't require any example because we are already having example in the theory only. You can see that actually topic name is JavaScript line length and line break. What does that mean? There are some standards, there are some more readability practices are there. When you make your line length according to the standards, and where it should be break, you should able to know that, right? So for best readability, programmers like you only, when you providing writing the JavaScript statement, you can see that oftenly when it codes length becomes more than 80 characters, then you should break it after this. Okay, but you should know where to break your code, where to break your JavaScript statement. So you can actually doesn't fit in a one line. You can place to break if it is an operator. So you are using any operator, then you can break it there and you can write it in a next line. And after that, while ending your JavaScript statement, you can provide the semicolon. So your JavaScript will able to know that your statement is starting from here, but it's not ending here. So you are right now ending here. So it will not give you any error and provide you the correct output. Are you able to get it? Or should I repeat? So make your practice whenever you are writing JavaScript code. So while writing the JavaScript statements, if it is getting too long and you are using any operator or anything where you see you can break it, just break it and write in a next line. And when your JavaScript statement is ending, just put the semicolon. Now it will provide you no errors and it will run smoothly as per your requirements. Okay, guys? So these are actually what we are actually right now. We have done three things, right? JavaScript line length, JavaScript white spaces, semicolons. Why we are studying this? Anybody wants to tell me? You have 1 minute. Just think of it and let me know. Okay. Any other guys? Quickly, why we are actually studying? We have just covered 3 topics. Why we are actually trying to do that? I got 2 answers only. I want more. Okay, more. Only 3 people have answered. Nobody is interesting to give the answer. Guys, just it's up to you. You if you don't want to contribute, I'm not saying anything. Okay. I'm just telling you why we are actually studying these things. These things are nothing. If you don't use these things, your code will run smoothly. There will be no issues. I hope you can understand this thing. Why we are actually trying to do that? We are actually trying to do that because we have to follow some standards when we are in industries. You can't put your code in a single line. You can't put your code without readability. You can't put your code without having the semicolons, because your code will be going to review not by you only. It will be going to review your peer. It will be going to review by your managers or something, where other managers or other teams also. Okay, it will not provide a good impression if your code is so complex that they are not able to even read it. Okay, so why I'm trying to tell you these things, because you are going to work in the industries in coming years, right? So if you know the structures, if you know the standards, and if you write in a correct way, then it will also going to help you to get a job, right? For an you can see for these times, in these scenarios, you can see every company will take a programming test when you want to join them, whether you are fresher, whether you are experienced. Right now I'm 4 years of experience. If I want to switch right now, I also have to give the written test. They are going to have, they are not going to just check your logic, they are going to check everything. So it's up to you. If you don't want to contribute, it's up to you. It's absolutely right. It will reduce your complexity to just know the basic structure and to enhance our code structure. If they are replying, then they are must going to learn something. If you're not replying, if you're shy, you're going to lose everything. I'm not having any grudges against you. It's up to you, but I really want you to contribute so that I am able to know that you're getting it. Okay. So continuing with our topic. So we have covered till this. So guys, now we are having JavaScript code blocks. What is code blocks? We have JavaScript statements, but when it is under the curly braces, your JavaScripts are under the curly braces, then it is called as code blocks. Okay. So what is the purpose? It is just having the purpose that when you want to execute each line of your JavaScript code block and you want to execute everything together, then you need to give the curly braces. Whatever written in the curly braces, it will be going to execute it together. Okay. So you can see that in this function, I'm trying to do 2 JavaScript statements. I want when it's demo 1, it should hello Dolly, or when it's demo 2, it should write how are you. Okay. So when I call this function, it will not execute only this line, it will execute both the lines, both the JavaScript statements for me, right? I just need to call or invoke that function through my program. Or how we can invoke it? We can invoke on clicking on it, or we can invoke, we can on hover something. Okay, it's up to you. So are we clear with the code blocks? It's nothing. Whatever the JavaScripts under the JavaScript statements under the curly braces and you want to execute it together, then you can provide code blocks. So guys, while using JavaScript, you have something like predefined some variables or predefined literals, or we can say that predefined words. Predefined words means some words are having a meaning already defined at the JavaScript side. Okay, we just need to use that, but we can't use that keywords as our variable names because it will be get ambiguous by JavaScript, whether you are trying to use the implemented definition of the keyword or you are defining your own definition. Okay, so it's not allowed in a JavaScript to use that keywords as variables or as literals or have anything in your code according to yourself, right? So like we are having some examples here. If you use the break keyword, then it will going to terminate a switch or a loop something, right? But if you use as a variable, it will not work. Just trying to understand what I'm saying. So I have some keywords for you, right? So these are the keywords. Like function is a keyword. When you want to make declare a function, you have to use this function. Just after that, you need to provide the function name, right? You have seen that this thing. But if I write function parentheses, will it work? Exactly, it will not work. Why? Because it's already having a predefined functionality that if you are trying writing this thing, then you are going to declare some function by you. Okay, but you can provide any name at the function, any name of the function name, but it should not be a keyword. Going back to our thing, we can say that we are actually not doing something. Okay, right now we are, you can see that while declaring a variable, I'm using this thing where, right? Where is nothing. It's a reserved keyword. When you want to declare a variable, you can use where, but you can't use a where as a variable name. You can't write where space where. It will not execute. It will give you an error. Clear, guys? Anybody wants to repeat anything till now in JavaScript today's session? Anjali, Kavardhan, Israr, Kunal, are you clear? Sahil, Vishal, Vivek, are you clear, guys? Coming to data types, Rochak, don't worry. I have everything in JavaScript for you. Don't worry, guys. Whatever you see on internet, if I'm not covering it, just let me know. I will cover it for that for you also. Okay. Anything you can see in a, because JavaScript is my key technology. I will not. I will try to cover everything. But if you see anything I'm not covering it, and you want me to cover that topic also, just ping me, sir. We want you to please prepare for this topic also. I'll prepare for you. No issues. I can work only if I got any input from your end. Else, what I'm seeing that I need to tell you, I will tell you. Okay? No issues. So guys, we are having a JavaScript syntax. What is syntax? Syntax is nothing. It's a set of rules we actually need to use to construct a JavaScript program. Okay, it's actually a set of rules to how to construct a JavaScript program. So right now, if you can see, if we want to only declare that variable, there is a syntax that we need to use that where, and space is up to you. But for a first variable, you need to use one space, right? Okay. So after that, you can use the space or not, it's up to you. It's just to how to declare variables, how to assign a variable, how to compute values. There are some syntax. So that syntax you need to use that so that your JavaScript will be able to know what you are actually trying to do. Are we getting it? So guys, next is JavaScript values. What is JavaScript values? So you can see we are having fixed values or sometimes variable. Variables means which can be changes by time to time, right? So when you are having fixed values, these are called literals, but when your variable values are variable, then you actually called nothing, it's actually called variables. So right now, if you see, we can have fixed values. It can be a decimal or it can be without decimal, right? So like what example I can give you, real-time example if you can take, everybody is studying math. So have you used the value of pi? So what's the value for pi? So guys, you know the value of pi is 3.14 in general way, right? So if its value is having 3.14, then you know it's a fixed value. You can't change it. If you want to have a area of circle, you can use pi r square, right? Then you can't change it. It's a fixed value. So you can write it 3.14. So it will be fixed, right? Then is this is nothing. This is literals. When you're not sure what is your variable value, you can provide at the after sometime like this only. Now you have just declared, but you don't know the value of xyz. But after that, you just provide the 5 and 6. You just assign a value to them, okay? But in z, you also don't know what comes when you compute this function or these values. So z will come with some value. So these values are changing. So these are actually called variables. Okay. So guys, you also know we can have string values also. So in JavaScript, you can use string values either in double quotes or in single quotes, like this only. Are we clear till now? So guys, these are very basic things. There is no difference. You can use either this or that. They will allow you in both. No, no, no. You can see that I have provided single with a full word also. So there is no difference. JavaScript is allowing you to have string in both ways. You can use the double quotes also. You can use the single quotes also. Okay, it will accept. No issues. So guys, anybody is remembering we have covered comments part also. Yes, this is the thing. So guys, you remember about the comments part we have covered in HTML, I think so. It's just working like the same. If you want to code after double slashes, it will not get executed. But if you are having multiple lines, then you can use that. Just before starting this, use that, write multiple line codes, and just after writing, when you are ending the comment part, just write that. Okay. Whatever comes under these two things, it will not get executed by JavaScript. It will be ignored because it will be going to treat it as JavaScript comments. But if you are having a single line comment, you know after this you are writing something, but in next line you're going to execute something JavaScript statement, then you can use this if you are having single line comment. Okay, after this thing whatever we are going to write, it will be get ignored. That we have covered in, I think so, HTML, right? Dilip, you are providing syntax of HTML, right? So you can see this. I have clearly get example for you. if you write this is going to be executed, but till this part. You will not going to get this part in your JavaScript program. But if you do something like that, nothing will be executed because all these part will be treated as comment. Right, guys? So what are JavaScript identifiers? So you can see this thing, we are providing names to the variables, right? So when you are actually identifiers are nothing, it's actually a names only. When you are providing names to the variables, any functions or any labels, then it's called as identifiers. So guys, to provide some names to any variables or any function or keyword, something or label something, there are some rules. And it's almost similar in every language, every programming language I can say, right? So every programming language is going to consider this thing like that first character must be a letter. If you are having multiple characters in your variable name only, like this, if I provide var space engineers, it will be treated as one variable, right? So first letter should be letter, or it can be underscore sign, or it can be a dollar sign, right? But after that it can be digits also, but first letter should be, oh sorry, first character should be letter, underscore, or a dollar sign. Then only you can actually have this thing. Clear with JavaScript identifiers? So guys, as you can see, we almost covered our basic part. So JavaScript is a case sensitive. What does that mean? So it's just clearly mentioned here, if you use small letters and in next variable you are using capital letters, then it will be going to treat as different variable. Okay. You can see that each character is same. There is just one difference. We are using n capital here and n is small here. But when we are declaring it, it will not provide you any error. It will going to treat it as two separate variables. So what is case sensitive? Case sensitive is nothing. It's like when you use the capital or small letters, it will be going to treat it as different things. Okay, guys. So if you are having some definition of the keywords in a small letter, then you need to use that variables or events or something in a small letters only. Okay, guys, do you see this thing in my, whenever I am having something for you, have you noticed this thing? Whenever I save something for you, when it's having two very words in that, my second word is every time is capital. Sometimes maybe I hope I actually miss that, but you can mostly in my examples, my second word is almost every time it's capital. Are you seeing whatever what I'm trying to say? You can see that pagination disabled, pagination active. Why this thing is happening with me? Because I am having a habit to save everything in a camel case. Because actually in our JavaScript, they are having some standards. They are having, if you want to join multiple words, you have to use the camel case. Because if you using this hyphen, this will be not allowed, because this is a reserved keyword for reserved keyword, actually reserved, you can say that, for subtraction. How your JavaScript will able to know that it's going, you are going to you are trying to subtract it, or you are just defining two other variables, right? You can use the underscore also, but it's a standard in Java. And JavaScript is nothing, it's a Java only. When you are using some Java things like in a scripting part. So it's a standard there. You have to use the first letter small, and in the second sorry, first character of the first word should be small, right? And in the if it's coming with the multiple words, the second word's first character should be capital, then you can join it. Okay, but there are other ways also. You can have the underscore. Okay, you can use the Pascal case here in JavaScript, lower camel case, this thing which actually I'm following every time. And it's, you can see that I have right also, the JavaScript programmers tend to use camel case that start with the lowercase character. So it would be great if you have this practice in your code, that whenever you are defining any, declaring any variable or using anything literal or anything, just use the lower camel case. Because if you in future, if you shift into a backend part also, then it will going to help you many times, or many times it's going to help you, it's for sure. Because there we are actually having a habit to use the lower case camel characters. So guys, any doubts till now? Any topic if you want me to repeat? Any doubts till now in JavaScript we have covered? I already told you that, Dilip, you are asking me why people follow camel case, because it's a standard only. You can give the single long name, but it will be very difficult for you to understand where your first word is ending and where your second word is starting. You have to separate the two words to make it readable. So right now, if you can use the underscore a Pascal case, it is going to run, no issues. But in the industries, they are actually following the lower camel case. Okay. So should we move further? No doubts from anybody? So guys, our next topic is, we have seen our basic part. Now we have to come to our practicals, right? So actually you can see, first we need to understand whatever we write, how we are going to show on a browser. So whatever you want to show on a browser, it is going to be output for your JavaScript statements. So what are the actually way to display your output on a JavaScript? It's in front of you only. We are actually having right now 4 ways. You can use inner HTML, you can use document.write, you can use windows.alert, you can use console.log. I'll explain you every way one by one. So should we go ahead? So guys, you are going to get these documents. You don't need to write. Okay, guys, uh, you have seen we have used the inner HTML earlier also in our examples. If I can show you again in my first day examples, this thing only. If we show, sorry guys, sorry. Uh, this thing, you are seeing I'm doing the inner HTML thing, right? So just read it about what it's actually about. So we actually need to access the element HTML element. We can use the document.getElementById method. I already explained you about this method. When you want to get from the same document, when you want to get an element by their ID, you have to use this method, right? So if you can see that, right? If you can see that inner HTML is doing nothing, where you are actually using that ID is just placing that inner HTML, means just placing that thing into that element only. So whatever element you are getting from their ID, so here by a demo we are getting the element paragraph. So it's doing nothing, just writing inner HTML means just writing that thing into a paragraph, whatever it comes after the equals to sign. Are we clear? So let's run the code. You can see this. We are doing nothing in paragraph. We have given the ID demo. So we are getting element paragraph only, right? So it's getting the, here is getting, what it's actually getting is getting the paragraph element. In that paragraph element, you are writing to inner HTML, right? You have to write whatever comes after this. So you are giving the hello students. You can see that we have actually write our this thing as a content when you actually run that JavaScript. But on click, you have told them to change that thing to hello students. No, it will Dilip, just 1 second. I'm getting call from my office. Just 1 second. Yeah, guys, sorry for I just got a call from my office. So you don't have to do anything to make JavaScript to run. It automatically will get loaded if it is enabled in your browser. Okay. So it's not like that I'm trying to run a JavaScript code. I'm just doing something by clicking on it, right? It's an event on click. Some when I want, it's when button is clicked, do this thing. Okay. So guys, are you clear with inner HTML? So you are actually getting an element by ID and you are just writing into that element through inner HTML. So are we clear? So we are coming with next thing. So when you are actually trying to do some testing, or when you are actually doing something, okay, so we can use the document.write. What will actually it will do nothing. It will just write into your document whatever comes under the parenthesis. Okay. So guys, there is something, we have something here. Never call document.write after the document had finished loaded, because it will overwrite the whole document. What does that mean? Anybody wants to guess? Anybody? Guys, any idea about this line? What I'm trying to say in this line? It's just a simple English, but what does that mean? No idea? So it just mean that, should I tell you guys? Okay, I'll show you first. Then you will able to understand more clearly. Oh, sorry. This is the code. Okay. Sure. Okay, let's run this. You can see that we have given this thing, the paragraph, headline. Then I'm on click. I'm just calling the document dot write. Right, guys? Are you able to see what happened? So now just read that line. Are we able to get this line now? So whenever you this is just for the this is just for the this thing like testing purpose. You can use the document dot write if you want to test your code for some time. But if you use in your HTML, it will all override your whole document. It will not write display anything. It will just display that thing, whatever comes under the parenthesis. So you now you know where you have to use this. So where we have to use this? It will not replace your code. It will just overwrite it. So guys, you just need to use that for testing purpose only. When you want to display something at in the browser only, and you are having some function, you just want to check what output will come. You can just use a document dot write. You will get the output here only, like you are getting 11 here, right? But it will all overwrite your HTML code. So you need to just use that for testing purpose. Okay. So we have covered till now two things. Now we will cover the alert box. So guys, what is the alert box? You're asking right question, Dilip. So you're asking me this document got get element ID is a better option. Yeah, it is a better option. When in the coming examples, you can see I will not use these things, the Windows alert or document dot write or the console dot log. I'm just using this thing only, the document dot get element by ID. And what my next question was, what is the alert box? The Rochek has given the right answer. to just having an alert as a pop-up, right? So I have example this example for you. So you can see we are having Windows alert. Just see the code. Guys, you can see there is no difference, right? I'm just using the heading. I'm using the paragraph in the windows.alert. I'm just trying to add these two variables, right? So let's see by running this code. You can see we are getting the pop-up as a alert pop-up, and in that I'm getting that 11. When I click OK, nothing is going to override. So when you want some alert to be triggered, then you can use this windows.alert. Yeah, you can use that. It's up to you. Okay. Right, guys? So now you know three methods: windows.alert, document.write, or document.getElement by ID. Our next topic is how we can use the console.log to get an output. So firstly, we'll run the code, then I'll explain you. You can see instead of windows.alert, I'm just using the console.log. Everything is same. Okay. So when you can see when I'm clicking on it, I'm not getting any output in front of me in a browser, right? Why? Because it's clearly mentioned it is we are going to use that output.console for the debugging purpose. To activate the debugging, we need to we need to press F12. You can see by just pressing F12, I'm just directly redirect to console. Okay, now if I click on it, you can see this, I'm getting output here, but I'm clicking on multiple times. It's just telling me that you have clicked this time. 22 times I have clicked, but output is same. So how we can use the console.log when you don't want to show output in your browser in front end, but if you want to check what it will give the output, you can use the console.log, and in console you can check it what output you are getting. If your output is correct, you can use you can provide at the front end also after that. Or these are actually used to debugging. You can actually use this thing. You can provide console.log that till this thing you have covered, your code is running fine. So in console you can see that when you're trying to run your code, you can see that you can actually getting output in console.log that till this thing you have, whatever you write in the console.log, it will be going to print here. So any doubts till now? Sorry guys, I got a call from my office. Actually, some deployment is going on, so they're just asking me something. So where actually we are actually Dilip is asking is just same as document.write. No, Dilip, it's not just same as document.write. If it is same, then it will actually going to overwrite your all HTML elements, but you can see your HTML elements are still there and you are getting the output in your console. So are we clear, guys? So now you know there are four methods. You can get the output, but mostly you are going to use the document dot get element by ID. So guys, now we are coming to our variable part. So like Rochak, you have asked how we are actually storing that value. The values are going to store not at any place. It is going to store at their variables only. Okay. For that, whenever your JavaScript will load, it will going to assign a value to that variable. So guys, this thing we are already clear. Or should I need to explain that? It will going to work as till then your JavaScript is loaded, it is going to assign that value. So you are working in that page only, then you can use variable at any time. Okay. But when it you have moved, I already told you, I'll let you know how you are going to move your values to another pages. It will be coming in coming lectures. But if you don't having that thing, then your value will be vanished. So guys, here is some explanation for this. So all JavaScript variables must be identified with the unique names. Are we clear with this? I already told you the unique names are called identifiers, right? We have just covered this thing. So identifiers can be a short name like XY or more descriptive names like age, sum or total value. So guys, just let me know whether we need to use the short names or should we need to use the descriptive names. Other guys, Anjali, I want you to answer this. Anjali has dropped off. Okay. Who else? Apurv, Amit. What do you think? We need to use the descriptive names or we need to use the short names? Abhijit, Kunal, Sahil, what do you think? Vishal, Vivek. Guys, you need to use the descriptive names. What will you able to understand if you use the X and Y in your code? How the other people is going to understand what you are trying to do? If you are having some age and you are using instead of age you are using X, anybody will able to know that you are going to store the age into X. If it is clearly written variable name, then everybody will able to know that you are storing the age into that variable. Yes, exactly. Vishal is saying that is uh, Vishal is exactly saying the descriptive will easily identify the properties, right? So Dilip, it's up to you. You for addition program you can use the X and Y, but the other people will able to know that the what actually the meaning of X and Y. If you are just using just same example, you're saying that for simple addition program, if you write number one and number two or something like that, then you are everybody able to know that this is the number one or this is the number two you're trying to add into a simple addition program. But through X and Y, you will not able to understand what you are actually trying to store in this variable. So general rules to constructing names of variables are: it should contain letters, digits, underscore. Okay, begin with the letter. Also, guys, this thing I already explained you, right? This is case sensitive thing is also explained to you, and you reserve keywords also. So I think so. Up to this, we already discussed these points. So guys, this is the equal to sign. What is this actually doing? Okay, in general math, if you write A equals to B, what does that mean? Guys, I'm asking in general math, in your general mathematics, if you write A equals to B, what does that mean? I'll write it for you also. A equals to B in maths. What does that mean? So guys, why I'm asking this thing to you, right now in JavaScript or Java, it will not work as equal to, it will work as assignment operator. Just keep in your mind, it will work as assignment operator. If you want to use the equal to sign, then you need to use this double equals to. Okay. So when you want to use the equal to, what does actually mean to equal to, then you need to use that double equals to. Okay, but if you are using single this sign equal sign, then it is an assignment operator. It will not work as equal to operator. Are we clear? So now important topic. So let's see if I have some example for you for the variable. We can see the source code. You can see same example. Okay, for just the output I am doing this thing, document.get element by id demo, and in an HTML the value of z is just printing the z. You can see it's going to print for me, and you can see the coding standard also, guys. Here I break my code line of code because it's become lengthy. So are we clear with variables right now? So let's move further. So should we do this today or tomorrow? Okay, let's cover the JavaScript data type. The operators I'll cover tomorrow. Okay. So guys, till now you have seen the JavaScript variables can hold 100 also. It can also hold this string also, right? So how is this thing happening? So it must have some data type. So actually JavaScript can handle many types of data, but just for now we can think of numbers and strings that I already told you, like this only, pi and person, and this single quotes. You can see that I have given the single quotes also, right? So now, whenever you're declaring with variable with numbers, you don't need to use any double quotes, because if you use the double quote, it will be going to treat as string. I hope everybody's know what is string. So are we clear this? So we'll go step by step. In JavaScript variable, we need to declare it first. So right now I'm doing nothing. We are just declaring a variable name, but we are not giving any value to them. So technically it's undefined. So we know that to assign a value, we need to use this. So guys, I think so you are clear with this. Should I need to explain that? So you can also give the variable value when you are declaring it. You can give the value after declaring it in your next JavaScript statement, but you can give the value at the same time when you are declaring it. So what do you think, what will be the output for this? Exactly, it will come Volvo, but V will be capital. Yeah. Okay. So just having one example for you guys. You can see this, I am getting true and false. Okay. Right now, if we have seen only for numbers and string, but we can also have the Boolean type data type. What is Boolean data type? Boolean data type is nothing. It will be going to have two values only, either true or false. Okay. So when you are having some condition, you need to have output from them. You can use the Boolean variables. So right now you can see I'm not storing Boolean variable into a separate variable. So right now I'm just checking the condition. It will give me the Boolean output. So you can see x equals to y. Actually, this example is covering my two topics, the data type and the equal to, double equals to, as working as equal to, right? So x equals to y, true. So it's giving me true. But when I want x equals to z, 5 equals to 6, it's false, it's giving me false. So are we clear with this? So let's see this little bit. We are increasing our complexity. You can see this, what is this? This is nothing, the array. Array is what? Array is nothing. When you have the similar kind of values, you can make a one variable and store into a array format. So whenever you want a collection, right? So whenever you want to have a collection of the same data types, you can just use these square brackets. In that, you can provide the values by separating by comma. Just remember is guys, array index is always starting from 0. So Java will be stored at 0, JavaScript will be stored at 1, or web will be stored at 2. Not 1, 2, 3, it will be stored at 0, 1, 2, right? So whenever I'm trying to get the value of 0 here, so what should it should print? Right guys? We are getting Java. So just little bit we can change, we can use 2. Okay. So now what will be the output? Exactly, the web will be the output. Okay, we'll do one thing. I just write 5 here. So guys, what will be the output? Sorry. It is going to print undefined because no error. Because it doesn't matter for them whatever you're providing. If it is present there, it is going to print that. But if it is not present there, it is going to give you undefined because it is not defined at their end. So are we clear? So guys, this is from my end for today's lecture. I hope you find it interesting because we have covered the basic things. So these basic things are going to help you guys, right? And you know now what is variables, what is how you can print your output on the screens or in a console or in a how you can have these things in alert, right? So tomorrow we'll cover the operator part. It is nothing. I have nothing examples directly explain through the examples only. Okay. So these are the some reserved keywords in JavaScript. Okay, that you can't use it. So after that we'll directly jump to JavaScript arithmetics. So it's what I'll explain you what is operator precedence, and then we already covered the data. I already explained you this thing. Yes. Okay, guys, any doubt till now, or should we end the session? So, how you are finding JavaScript till now? Anybody wants to contribute on this question? Only one? Is it too difficult or exactly? It's quite similar to other programming languages. Nothing special in JavaScript, guys. Yeah, little bit tough you can see because HTML CSS is nothing. You can directly see the output, whatever you're trying to do. But here you have to apply some logic. You have to apply some functions or events. So it is going to be little bit tough, but it will be not tough if you regularly practice it. Okay, guys. So bye from my end for today. We'll meet you tomorrow. So guys, I hope you are attempting that quiz that they have opened. Just have that quiz. Okay. Okay, bye. Good night.